My name is Lieutenant Steve Dorris, last name spelled D-O-R-R-I-S. I am the Criminal Investigations Division Commander and the Public Information Officer for the Baytown Police Department. I also have with me today some members from Crime Stoppers. As I mentioned in the email I sent out to you all yesterday evening, one of the things we're going to cover today is the fact that we're actually raising the reward for any information in this case. Okay? 1 year ago today, on August 15th of 2018, at approximately 6 in the morning, 84-year-old Korean War veteran Sam Wingate went for his morning walk up in the Pinehurst subdivision here in Baytown. Something he did every morning with a good friend of his. Unfortunately, this morning ended different than all the others. This particular morning, as Sam and his friend were taking their walk, a light-colored sedan pulled up next to him and fired multiple shots at the two gentlemen. One of those rounds struck Sam. He was ultimately flown to Herman Hospital in Houston, where he succumbed to his injuries a few days later. The Wingate family affected our entire community, and the Baytown Police Department is absolutely committed to catching the person responsible for this senseless crime and bringing them to justice. Our detectives have been working tirelessly on this case for right at a year now, collecting video, as most of you know, conducting interviews, and following a multitude of investigative paths, all in an effort to identify the vehicle in this murder and the suspect in this murder. During that investigation, what we have been able to do is link the weapon that was used in Sam's murder to a similar shooting that occurred a few weeks earlier on July 24th of 2018 in the Heights area of Houston. In that case, the Houston Police Department actually recovered a shell casing. We were able to forensically match that shell casing to our homicide here in Baytown, telling us that the same weapon was used in both incidents. We also believe that there's a third shooting that happened in the Heights area back in October of 2018. We did not recover any shell casings from that incident. However, the vehicle in that case, the suspect description in that case, and the MO were all identical to ours and the July incident in the Heights. Again, leading us to believe that all three incidents are linked together by a common suspect. In examining all three of these cases, what we've kind of come to the conclusion of is that the vehicle that we're looking for is most likely a light-colored 2004 to 2008 Chevy Malibu, and our suspect has been described by one witness as a black male, approximately 6 foot tall, and possibly in his 30s. Since Sam's murder, we've received several tips through Crime Stoppers. But unfortunately, none of those tips have proven fruitful to this point. So with that in mind, we've worked with the Baytown Crime Stoppers, and with their help and the help from our community, we're able to announce today that we are increasing the reward for any information leading to an arrest in this case to $25,000. What we're hoping is that this increase in the reward money will encourage anyone who may know something about this case, regardless of how small they may think it is, to contact Baytown Crime Stoppers. That number is 281-427-8477. That is my prepared information for today. So at this point, I'm going to open it up for a few questions.
Lieutenant, do you have any, there were two additional ones. You said the other one was in October?
Yes, ma'am.
Of last year, October what?
October 16th.
Okay. And was there anyone injured in that one?
Yes, ma'am. That's the one there where the gentleman was actually shot and his dog got away and somebody brought the dog back.
What was the one on the 4th then?
The one on July 24th, no one was injured in that one, fortunately.
No injury, okay.
Again, a vehicle pulls up, a lady in the Heights is walking her dog. A vehicle pulls up, says something to her. She turns to look at the vehicle, and that's when the suspect starts shooting at her. Luckily, she was quick enough to basically hit the ground. So she wasn't struck, and the car fled.
Is there any indication that there may be other ones that he's connected to, or the car just isn't turning up, or the description doesn't match?
Well, like I said, we know that these three we're certain that two of these are related, and we're pretty confident that the third one is related as well, based on what we know. Now, whether or not he's been involved in other incidents of this nature anywhere else, we don't know. What we have done is we've taken this case and we've placed it into VICAP, which is it's a federal database for violent criminal apprehension, to see if it matches anything any other agencies around the nation may have, and we haven't gotten anything back on that yet.
And the link in this, what, between Baytown and the Heights, conceivably I-10?
At this point, that is the only link that we can think of. You know, I think I mentioned it back last year when we first, this case first happened. You know, we didn't know why was the person here in Baytown? You know, who was it? And then when we had the instance that got matched up in Houston, you know, that just kind of made us think, well, this is not a targeted thing. This is kind of a random thing. So that was kind of what led us down that path. So again, as to whether or not he's been involved in, you know, other cases like this, we just don't know.
But with 3 under his belt possibly, what does this tell you about him?
Well, he's opportunistic, number 1. He's evil, number 2, I would think. You know, I'm always cautious about characterizing suspects with titles because everybody's innocent until they're proven guilty. But the offense, the act itself is evil, right? You have people that are just out doing their normal business, you know, walking their dog. In Sam's case, going for his morning walk, you know, with a good friend of his.
Are you surprised you haven't gotten enough information that leads to an identification?
Yeah, I am, to be honest with you. Simply because of how much publicity it's garnered, number 1. You know, but number 2, you look at the areas these things happened at, and they're not areas that are known for high crime. You know, so you would think that there would be somebody out there that knew something, that saw something that would be able to give us a lead.
As the case gets older, how much more do you rely on a tip to break the case rather than just evidence?
A lot. A lot. You know, the old saying is the first 48 hours is the most important time, and that's a very true statement. So you multiply that 48 hours out over the course of a year, and the chances start diminishing rapidly. Of course, over the past year, we have gone down, like I said earlier, a multitude of investigative paths trying to solve this, and we just have not had any luck with any of that. And so, as great as my detectives are, and I say that with all sincerity, as great as my detectives are, oftentimes we need the public's help to solve cases, because sometimes the evidence is just not there to point us in the right direction.
So in all 3 incidents, the same car is involved in all 3?
That is what we believe. I'm going to play a video here in just a few minutes of the car in all 3 incidents, and you'll see where it appears to be the same vehicle. So that is what has led us to that point, or to that conclusion, rather.
Do you feel the suspect is not from Baytown?
You know, my investigative gut says no, but to be honest, we just don't know. We don't know where he's from. You know, if you work off the premise that he's from the Heights area, from that area of Houston, what brought him to Baytown? And then if you look at the area where this happened at in Baytown and Pinehurst, generally speaking, and I think the family will agree with me on this, if you don't know where you're going, you're going to be lost. I've worked here for 20 years and I still get lost out there. So, you know, that was our first inclination, was that they were probably, or the suspect was probably from Baytown. But again, now that you have 2 incidents that have happened over in the Heights around the same time of day, you know, a month or 2 apart, is he from over there and work over here? Does he live over here and work over there? We just haven't been able to figure that out yet.
Last years of his life had been somewhat of a challenge that he had faced, but the beginning of that was about 8 or 9 years ago with the diagnosis of Alzheimer's with our mom. Shortly after that, he had a quadruple bypass that he recovered from very well. Then Hurricane Harvey came. He lost all of his possessions in his house, but our family was once again reminded that possessions were not important. A few short months after that, my mom passed away, and then my dad was really just getting his life back to a new normal, and was able to walk, and he had started walking his 2 miles, which he had always done prior to the heart surgery. And this senseless killing happened. So my plea, our family just humbly ask that if anybody knows anything, a sliver of something, maybe you know all the details, that you will please find it in your heart to do the right thing and come forward and contact the police department.